What we're going to talk about today is actually creating opportunities to participate. Okay, the thing about music in general is that it is we've explored many times. It's the language of emotions, but it's conversational, which means you really cannot have music without two people. Yes, music can be created by one person, and that one person can enjoy their own thing. That's not what music is. Music is a language. A language is used for conversations, it's used for communicating with each other. So you need at least two people in order for music to actually mean anything. The, and it's not always just a performer just presenting and somebody else just hearing. It is a two-way conversation. We'll explore that a little later on. The issue is we don't always have the right opportunities, the right environment, and all that kind of stuff to participate in live music making. And I've got a wonderful quote here. Let me see if I can find this quote because Lee Higgins, he kind of summed it up really quite well. Let's go over the fact about this language of emotions. I know mathematicians like to think that mathematics is the world's only universal language. Unfortunately, there are at least 7 known languages on this planet that don't have numbers. They actually can't do mathematics because they don't have numbers in their language. There's no concept of what a number is. So they won't be able to communicate with other people through mathematics. However, every single person on this planet, as we explored last week, everyone on this planet, if you can speak, you can sing. If you have a pulse, you have rhythm. Everyone can communicate through music. It is a universal language. So Lee Higgins, I like his quote because he says basically everybody has the right and ability to create and enjoy their music. Everybody has the right and the ability to create and enjoy their music. Now, the important thing, there are lots of important things in that, but I think one of the most important things is, in fact, the enjoyment part. It's not just entertainment, there's joy involved. And you can only do that, as I said before, with two people, where one person shares something, an emotion, a feeling, whatever, through music. Another person receives that, and then they can respond. And yeah, there is a ton of correlation between music and mathematics. I just saw that comment put on Facebook, so thank you for sharing that one. There is a very big correlation. They are very, very closely knit. But not everyone can participate in mathematics if they don't have numbers in their language. So everybody can, unless there's a physical problem, they can speak somehow. You can even speak with your eyes. I ask this a lot from most of my performing groups, is smile with your eyes. Even if you can't actually pick up an instrument and play at the same time and smile, you can still smile with your eyes. And you can tap a rhythm. If you have a pulse, you can tap a beat, you can tap a rhythm, you can participate in music. Everyone can do it. I've taught so many people who claim that they're either tone deaf or they have no coordination. And people who do struggle with coordinating their hands and their bodies and stuff, the drum kit is a great way to start. Okay, it's not the ultimate. You need to go beyond that, but it's a really easy and good way to actually start getting coordinated. So everyone has the right and the ability to make, create, and enjoy music. So how do we make that happen? Who makes it happen? How do we get involved in music? And there are 3 things I would like to explore today, and they're on that worksheet. These 3 things are, I think, they summarize the kind of music that we can get involved with and who's responsible for it. Okay. This first one, if you are familiar with the movie Braveheart, okay, who is responsible for creating opportunities to participate in live music making? It's up to us, Hamish. I can't believe I went there, but you know what? It's true. It's up to us. No one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to create opportunities for you. It's up to individuals. If you leave it to anyone else, especially if you think that, yeah, there are professionals out there who do this, and there are, and they're really, really good at it. But just relying on that and relying on other people to give you the fuel through music that you need, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get satisfied. You're not going to be able to enjoy it as much as you could if you did it yourself. Okay, so it's up to us. It's up to the individual person to create an opportunity where they can participate in music. That might mean that you simply buy a ticket and attend a concert. It might mean that if you want to, you don't necessarily want to get involved, but and go to a concert, maybe you can have a concert yourself. You can host a concert. In an environment, maybe if you go to church, you can borrow the church for a bit, or even a front lawn mini concert. Have you heard of those? It's a service that DMS offers you. You can actually create an opportunity for to participate in live music making by hosting a front lawn mini concert, where you and your neighbors and maybe a couple of friends that you invite to come and sit socially distance can actually enjoy live music. And you don't have to necessarily be a performer to do that. So there's another opportunity, but it's up to you. Here are three little ways that you can actually physically implement creating your own opportunities. When I say it's up to us, so the first thing is join a conversation. When you talk to people, first of all, we're listening. Right? We've explored the listening versus hearing thing before, but when you join a conversation with somebody, you can bring up music in almost just about any context whatsoever. Almost anything. You can join in a conversation and mention music. That conversation gets music back into the forefront, and you can now participate in the idea of what music is, where it's going to happen. You know what, we should get together, we should attend a concert, we should put on a concert, we should host a concert, we should perform together, whatever it is. But join a conversation. Get people talking about live music. Another thing that you can do is get more input from people. Meaning, what do you enjoy? What do you know that you like already? And by the way, have you tried something different? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Do you know what music actually does for you? Do you know why music is so important for our emotional well-being? Having these conversations really just creates opportunities where people are now interested and want to get involved with something musical. And as the language of emotions, that is so vital in any difficult times, in times of sadness and sorrow, in times of joy. When did we need music most over the last few years? Probably September 12th. Was one of the most important days that people turned to music. I think right now, in this isolation, we need that emotional well-being. We need music in our lives, live in-person music. I don't know if you saw on any of my personal social media stuff, I did a double picture thing. And the top part was an aeroplane full of people with masks on. And everyone looked absolutely miserable. And right underneath that is a completely empty concert hall. 1,000 seats, absolutely empty. And I sometimes wonder if we in the first world, we've got our priorities a little bit mixed up here. That we're okay stuffing ourselves together into a big tube with masks on, but in a larger environment where you can actually pull fresh air in and get that emotional healing that we need through live music, isn't happening. Now, in some countries it is, and there are a couple of states in the US that are opening up. But in some countries around the world, people are actually beginning to perform again, which is awesome. Not crowded; they're keeping the social distance, but it's possible. People are doing it, and I think we've forgotten how to do that. So get more input from people. Ask people, invite people to comment, to respond, to give feedback, and see what other people think. But it's up to us. Okay. Another thing is to be very wary of when looking for opportunities to participate is be careful about, bit of a dodgy word, entitlement. Be careful about being entitled to having opportunities given and presented to you. It's a very, very dangerous thing, where even if you've been playing for most of your life and you move to a new area and you're looking for opportunities, that you actually are the best thing since sliced bread and you deserve to have all the opportunities to perform. That's not community. That is not what music making is. That's pure ego, and that's showing off. And you know what? It doesn't create a very nice environment for anyone. And ultimately, and I've experienced this, you don't get satisfied anyway. It doesn't help you. You're never satisfied. So just keep a check on entitlement expectations, thinking that because of who you are or what you do, you deserve to have this opportunity to participate in music. You know what? It's up to us to create those opportunities. And as I said before, it can be really, really simple. It can be as simple as looking for something that's going on locally and attending, just going to it. That in its own right is creating an opportunity in your life to participate in live music making. If you are a performer and you want to perform and you want to share more of your music, then create the opportunity. Host your own front lawn mini concert. Find somebody else to communicate with, to actually perform with at social distance. But it's up to you. Now, there are organizations, and we'll explore this in just a moment, where we can make this easier for you. That's what the DMS was set up for, is to make those opportunities much easier, to connect you and your community with live music. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So many people reinvent the wheel in this industry. It's unbelievable. It's scary. You do not have to duplicate what other people have already learned how to do. Yes, we can teach you and all that kind of stuff, but there's no need to actually duplicate and know what's going on. And reinvent the wheel and discover for the first time ever this wonderful new thing. You know what? There are people out there who do this for a living and can actually help you do this. For example, if you want to host a front lawn mini concert, go to the DunedinMusicSociety.org. It's a service that we offer. I think it's under the shop tab. I can't remember, but have a look. And we'll bring live music to your front lawn where you and your neighbors, they can sit at the end of their driveway and enjoy the music. You can invite a couple of friends to sit on your front lawn. Maybe you want the band, the small group, small band, it's not big. Maybe you want them on the driveway so they don't mess up your grass, but whatever. We can work with that. So have a look at those options and see what we've got there. Now, the second thing to think about when looking and creating opportunities for participating in live music is that it works both ways. It's a two-way thing. Music is not a one-way performer versus audience, presenter and recipient. It's always a two-way conversation. The number of performances that I've conducted that the group has played incredibly well. Seriously, we enjoy it. They make music with fun, excitement, all that kind of stuff, but it's absolutely flat. I can't wait for that concert to finish. Do you know why? Because the audience isn't giving back. We're not getting the energy, the excitement, the focus from the audience. And we feed off of that. If you are an audience member, even if you're a performer and you attend a concert, if you sit there criticizing everything and listening for all the mistakes, we pick that up. And that affects what we're going to deliver to you. If you're excited just to be there and to hear this stuff and to congratulate people who did a decent job, the best that they could, again, we feel that, we receive that, and it makes us want to do more and makes us want to do better, and then that just lifts the whole concert up. So it is completely give and take and give and take and give and take. It's a two-way conversation every single time music occurs. Please do remember that, because it's up to us to create these opportunities. But there's always going to be give and take. There's not going to be a time when you can actually expect something for nothing. We'll come to that in just a second as well. There's a lot of give and take. And as I said many times, this is for both audiences and performers. It works both ways. Audiences, not only in the actual environment, can give their feedback through applause. Oh, here's something. Let's think about this. Have you ever been to a jazz or a rock concert, and in the middle of a song, a performer does something a little bit special, and you like it so much that people applaud? Same thing happens in opera. Same thing happens in ballet. Have you been to all those environments? Have you ever been to any of those things and you've actually heard applause in the middle of a piece of music? Of course you have. It's normal. Only in the 1930s in Toscanini did we start silencing people in music concerts. And there's a wonderful story about that, about Toscanini. It was his radio shows were running late, and they couldn't figure out why. It wasn't the tempo of the music, it wasn't the music itself, it was the fact that the audience was applauding between movements of a symphony, and it made the radio show run late, so they cut it out. Toscanini, being the dictator that he was, he loved it, brought it back into the concert hall, and that's where it started. Less than 100 years ago, that's where people started not applauding between movements of symphonies. Beethoven, Mahler, Tchaikovsky, Rimsky-Korsakov, Brahms, all these big composers, they didn't expect their audiences to stay silent. Tchaikovsky's Sixth Symphony, if you've actually heard that first movement, how on earth can anyone sit on their hands after that first movement? They expect when an oboist has a beautiful melody going on and they play it really well, they expected the audience to applaud. It's give and take, give and take. We don't know. Performers don't know if we've done a good job if the audience doesn't let us know. And the best way to do that, and I love this, is if you cheer and whistle and applaud and jump up on your feet and do whatever, make as much noise as you can. You know, get it over and done with, but do it. Let us know that we're doing a good job. All right, and if you're one of those people who tells anyone else to shush, you know what? You're missing the point. You're missing the reason for being there. If you want to study music and listen to the music intensely and purposefully without distraction, that's why we have recordings. That's why we have CDs and MP3s and all this kind of stuff, okay? But the live environment is a conversation, and it's give and take between performers and audiences, back and forth. But the interesting thing, I think, is about the fact that music it works both ways, is that music itself is bigger than just that performance. A good performance is going to affect you. Whether you're a performance, an audience member, or a volunteer, or a staff member, whoever you are, a performance is going to affect you long after the performance is over. And I'm going to tell you right now, lives change. You can support, when you support live music making, you can change a life. You do change lives. I'm an example. It happened to me when I was 7 years old. I was a very quiet kid. Didn't say anything, wouldn't say boo to a spider. I was just absolutely silent. I would for 2 years I didn't say a single word. Not a sound came out of my mouth. I bet my wife wishes that was still the case. But when I was a kid, my parents were worried. Does he have a voice? We haven't heard anything. Eventually, obviously, I did talk. But when I was 7, they took me to see my local community orchestra. And we were on the balcony, front row, and apparently I sat there leaning on the balcony with my chin on there for the entire concert except the intermission. Got in the car on the way home, didn't say a word. Again, they were worried. Did they waste their money? Was it, whatever? And then just as we reached our village, about a 40-minute drive later, hit our village, and eventually Mum said, last time, did you like that? Was there anything that you enjoyed? And apparently I turned around and said, I want to do what that guy in the front was doing. Right? That's the story my mum tells me. And I can believe it. My entire life changed by attending that performance. Music changed my entire life. I have I've twice in my life I've tried to give up music and do something else. Didn't happen. Came back to music. It completely changes lives. Even if it's not that drastic, even if it's not that extreme of an example, you could be experiencing sorrow or sadness or any other number of emotions. You may not even know what emotions that you're experiencing right now. But if you attend a good live in-person concert, it will help you cope with those emotions. It will help you deal with those emotions. It'll help make sense of those emotions. Sometimes music will take you through anger and annoyance and all that kind of stuff, and it will help you express those. While you're sitting in your seat, you can still express anger through that music. That's the give and take part. And then when it's done, you can then process it a lot easier. Maybe it's even changed. Maybe you've even got rid of that emotion. Maybe you've replaced it with joy or something. There are so many things about live in-person music making, but it's bigger than just the performance. There are so many lives that are impacted. It's bigger than the performers, it's bigger than the audience, it's bigger than the venue, it's bigger than the music itself. So it works both ways. When creating opportunities to participate in live music, you know lives are going to change. The third thing to think about when creating opportunities to participate in live music making, this may be a little controversial for some people, but it doesn't matter where you are in the world, doesn't matter what kind of music it is, somebody somewhere pays for something. Music costs money. That's it. That's the bottom line. It's nothing is costless. Everything has a cost to it. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about time. I'm talking about expertise and all that kind of stuff. Yes, you can throw all that in. Even the audience members, it's costing you to attend. Obviously, if you buy a ticket, obviously, if you donate, there's an easy measure, an easy value to look at. But it's also costing you your time, your energy and effort, the organization to actually put it in your calendar, to make sure you've got the right people coming with you, hint, and to actually attend. And afterwards, the parking, all the meals before or after, meeting the performer, whatever it is that you do, it's costing you something to be involved. And we've gotten to a point in society, I think, where we're expecting other people to pick up the tab. And you know what? They might. It does happen. And right now, through our COVID, the Dunedin Music Society's COVID Catch-Up Challenge, we are looking for people who can support so that other people, more people, a broader base of people can actually get involved and experience the emotional well-being that music provides them. The problem is expecting it. Nothing is costless. One of the big dangers and one of the big inspirations I think that people have over the last 40 years, 50 years or so have been looking for this kind of environment where people just do things, particularly the arts. And I don't understand why it's just mostly music. Maybe because so many people do try and do it themselves. Why would you pay $100 to have a musician A over here come in and perform for you when person B over here will do not as much of a good quality job, but they'll do it for free because they love doing it, they earn their money, they pay their bills some other way. So they can do it for free because it's a hobby. So of course a lot of people will go for that because let's go back to the old adage, you can have three things. You can have fast, cheap or good, right? And most of Western society goes for fast and cheap every single time. And that's created an environment where we expect music to be free. Somebody somewhere is paying for something. The venue, the performers, the instruments, the equipment, all of that is lumped together. Somebody somewhere. My coaching students, I say this all the time. Did you attend college on a scholarship? Yes, I didn't pay a penny. I said, no, you didn't, but somebody did. Somebody invested in you to learn or to help you become an expert in what you do. Somebody somewhere always pays. Star Trek is the inspiration I was mentioning earlier. but they had no money. Yes, William Shatner in one of the movies was explaining to somebody how everybody just works for the good of everybody else. But the thing is, they had no money. It didn't exist in their society. In our society, it does exist. And there are no indications it's going away anytime soon. You can't live in a utopian society where everything is free when money still exists. Money is not evil. Everyone gets that quote from the Bible wrong. It's not evil. It's the love of money that's evil, or can create evil. But money exists in our world. As long as there is money, somebody somewhere has to pay for something. And that utopian environment that Star Trek portrays, there is no money. It doesn't exist. So we're not living in that environment right now. Okay, maybe we'll get to that point in our lifetime. I don't know. But until we do, every time there's an opportunity to enjoy and participate in music, it's going to cost money. So what I recommend is this. I recommend we pool our resources. Let's work together. It's up to us, Hamish, to actually bring music to our local communities. But you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to duplicate what everyone else is doing. It's such a waste of time, energy, and human effort to actually do what's already being done somewhere else, or to actually learn how to do again what somebody's already learned how to do several times and getting better at it. Get over the pride. Get over the ego. Okay? We live together in this community. Whether we know each other well or not. We are neighbors. We are a community. So work with the people there. It's up to us to do this. Okay? And those are the three things I think that are important to consider, important to remember, important to think about when we actually looking for opportunities to create and participate in live music. It is up to us. It works both ways. Somebody somewhere always has to pay. Consider those three things and consider opportunities to make, create, and enjoy live music, because according to Lee Higgins, everybody has the right to do those sorts of things. Okay? So that's today's message. I hope you enjoyed that. Please give me some feedback. I'm seeing some comments over on Facebook. Yes, it's interesting.